Our speaker, newly ordained senior minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man. One look at his resume and the reason becomes clear. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and self-awakening, he lives his bliss as a teacher, mentor, speaker, minister, and so much more. His mission is to live, move, and be inactive, which is an acronym, authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered, member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, emancipate, awaken, and empower people and communities. Reverend Ray, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Good morning and greetings, everyone. Happy Sunday. Let us dive in. So this month we are going into this idea of being in the vision, living the vision, visioning as a process, etc. And today it's living in the question as a high idea. Our lives are transformed and expanded when we live in and from not only the question, what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life, but also, what vision of my life am I willing to step into and experience moment by moment? There's the question. What am I willing? What am I willing to allow Spirit to show up in, through, and as me? Am I willing? So let's go a little deeper. What is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life? So just envision, what is Spirit? Spirit is ever expanding consciousness. Spirit is infinite creativity. Spirit is love, joy, and power. Spirit is, keep on filling it in, Spirit is. And if Spirit is what we are, then whatever that is of Spirit is its highest idea as us. Breathe that in. If Spirit's highest idea is the expression of itself as love, then clearly its highest idea of itself as me is to express love. If its highest idea is to be creative, creativity in expression, and it is what I am, then its highest idea of itself for me is to demonstrate some level of creativity. Peace, joy, whatever is true of Spirit must also be true of me and each one of us. So its highest idea is to express itself to the fullest extent that we are willing to allow it to be embodied as us. Which brings us to the next point. What vision of my life am I willing to step into? Am I willing to step into, as Sue just spoke about? Am I willing to step into a place of non-attachment? Am I willing to step into a place of being a miracle? Am I willing to step into a space where, as Norm sang, that I am recognizing that I am moving, that I am closer and closer to God with each step, with each breath, my awareness of the truth of my being is closer and closer to the truth of what I am. Am I willing to step into that and allow that to be my experience? Science of Mind says, through spiritual discernment, we see that we have within us a power which is greater than anything we shall ever contact. Now, pause. Because ultimately, what this is saying right there is that the full expanse of what God is in this form right now, we are not going to experience that to its fullest extent. Why? Because that which God is, as the infinite, is beyond time. But in this individualized human form, in my experience right now, today is Sunday. And it is 11:05, 8, 9, something or other in the morning. God knows nothing about Sunday except God as me knowing about Sunday. God knows nothing about 11 in the morning versus 11 at night. But God as me knows there is morning and night, that there are numbers ascribed to hours. So in this form, I am bound by the realm of duality and time. But there is still a power that is moving, breathing, and having its essence in, through, and as me, in, through, and as you. And to the degree that we are willing to allow it to be expressed, then we make contact with, we plug into, and we let that power be expressed. A power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience. So this power, this presence, God itself, can overcome every obstacle in our experience, whatever that obstacle is. Because for God, there is no obstacle. So when we embody this power, when we let it well up within us, then there is greater emancipation, greater freedom, greater liberty, greater ease and grace. But there is another question. What is mine to do today in order to live and experience life to the fullest? And we could backtrack and say, so that power, what is mine to do today in order to live in contact with, in resonance with, in expression of that power as it moves through me to the fullest? What is mine to do? How do I detach? How do I accept? How do I shift my paradigms? How do I think, speak, feel more life affirmingness? What is mine to do? What is mine to do to experience life to the fullest and best possible in all of the ways, health and wealth, in my experience of physicalness, my relationships, my finances, my intellectual, mental capacities, my emotional self, and my mystical, spiritual self? What is mine to do that I may experience life to the fullest and best possible way of all of how God shows up in every sphere of my existence? What do I need to do? Maybe I don't need to do anything. Maybe it's more about who I am, who I allow myself to be. So Oprah says, self-esteem means knowing you are the dream. The dream, what is that? God, spirit, source, inspiration, creativity. Self-esteem means knowing that you are it. Self-esteem, it means recognizing. Because look, in all reality, when you know who and what you are, why would there ever be a need to have low self-esteem? Why would God need to feel bad or less than itself? There is no reason. So, self-esteem, esteeming thyself, recognizing your own inherent goodness, means knowing. It doesn't mean thinking. It doesn't mean maybeing. It doesn't mean daydreaming. It means knowing that you are it. You are the dream. You are the infinite expression of source showing up in, through, and as you and your life experience. James Allen says, dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. So you are the dream. When you know it, then you feel the wellspring of self-esteem. You shall become that which you know yourself to be. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. So whatever it is that we are holding in our mind as our mental equivalent, and whatever we are willing to step into, to grow into greater awareness of, greater levels of knowingness, moment by moment, then we are seeding our next greater yet to be. We are seeding our reality of experience. We are changing the very topography of the garden of our lives. We are then manifesting more of what we desire to be, do, have, and experience, not just for ourselves, but for the world as a world that works for all. So we often hear this word come up: vision board, visualizing, visioning. Now, if I were to ask you, and if you're quick with the fingers, type in the chat box, what is the common etymology or the common phraseology, the common root of all three of these words? Clearly, we can see this. Oh, see. Visualizing, the ability to see it. Vision, seeing. Eye. And how often do we say seeing is believing? Seeing is believing. That's why Thomas was like, yo, you say you Jesus? Come here. I need to stick my finger in the holes in your hands and your side because I need to see it to believe it. So if we are going to see it, these are three possible ways that we can engage the practice of stepping into greater levels of visualizing, visioning, embracing and embodying the dream, embracing and embodying the path of spirit, becoming us. So a vision board is a tool that we use to assist us in focusing our mind. You put pictures and words on a board, on a poster board or something, and it gives us a focus in the same way that a mantra, Om Shanti, gives us a focus, divine peace, Om Shanti, Shalom, a way of focusing the mind and the heart on this core concept. A vision board does that. It gives us something to glance at, to recalibrate our mind and our heart to say, that's who I am, that's what I desire to be, that's what I desire to have. Now let me go out in the world and do it, be it, create it. Visualizing, seeing in your mind's eye that which you desire. So you have a vision board, but you're driving in the car. Your vision board isn't in the car with you for you to glance back at it every 5 minutes. But you saw it in the morning as part of your spiritual practice. While you're on the bus or driving to work or walking your dog, Jack, you bring back to your mind's eye, you visualize, this is who I am becoming. This is what I am creating. This is what I desire and deserve for my life. You bring it back to your mind's eye, your third eye, your inner eye. And then there's visioning, a spiritual practice of opening your mind and your heart to the highest, to your highest, by opening to the direct revelation of spirit. You are simply allowing the truth of your being to speak its truth in, through, and as you, in words, in sounds, in pictures, in feelings, in whatever ways that creation itself communicates to you and through you. And for anyone who has never done visioning, today after service, Dr. Ronnie will be conducting visioning, just FYI, but more about that later. So, why is any of that important? Because God's creative power of mind is right here. It's right here, right here. It's not over there. It's not over there. It's right here, right where you are. God's creative power of mind is, because the mind that you use is the one mind. We have as much of its power, as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody. So if you believe yourself to be inadequate, insufficient, you believe yourself to be low in self-esteem, you believe yourself to be low in self-worth, then you are going to embody exactly that much of this power. But when you start to recognize, I may feel insignificant, and yet the truth of my being is I am far more significant than in this moment that I may be able to imagine, but I give myself permission to be willing to step into this greater way of showing up, this greater level of being. I'm willing to embody a little bit more grace and love. I'm willing to embody a little more health and well-being. I'm willing to embody a little bit more radical self-care, because the degree that I believe and embody it is the degree that this creative power is made accessible to me. The storehouse of nature is filled to overflow with infinite good, awaiting the touch of our awakened thought to spring forth into manifestation in our lives. When we think it, when we feel it, then that which is creation automatically, because the law always says yes, it is automatically saying yes, it will touch, it will agree, and we create accordingly. So by the power of our thoughts, to the degree that we believe, to the degree that we embody, is the degree to which life responds. Robert Browning wrote, "Truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things. Whatever you may believe, there is an innermost center in us all. And in this innermost center, where truth abides in fullness. Truth is within ourselves. God is within ourselves. Power is within ourselves. It doesn't matter what's going on externally to us. That which is the innermost center, the innermost truth of our being, where truth abides in fullness, is what we are, what we connect to, what expresses through us. But how often do we not connect to that? Like, how often do we recognize what Alice Walker said? The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. The moment we think, but Reverend Ray, I can't be God, because if you knew how many times I beep in my life, like I'm a complete and total failure. My relationships fail, my finances fail, my health fails, everything in my life. If you really only knew me, then no. I feel like that woman in Get Out. No. When we stop surrendering, relinquishing our power, we've taken on those belief forms. It's time to let that go. Sue said, detach, be non-attached. Do not be attached to the old story of being powerless and insignificant. Be willing to step into this greater way of showing up. I am healthy, whole, and well, even if in this moment my back hurts, even if in this moment my neck hurts, even if in this moment the doctor said I know the truth of my being is health, well-being, joy, and power. I don't care how much money or how little money I have in my bank account or in my wallet. I know that I am infinite source in expression. The full expanse of the universe lives, moves, and has its beingness as me, in me, with me, through me. So what's in my bank account is no reflection of the truth of my being. Is it not time that we step into our power? Step into the truth of our being just a little bit more, because what we've done for far too long is allowed someone to tell us, yo, this is restricted territory. It's only accessible to the saints, the gurus, the priests, the pioneers, the practitioners, the ministers. You are not allowed. And truth be told, you're not a good enough practitioner. You're not a good enough guru. You're not a good enough whatever it is. Because if you were, then you'd have access. But you don't have access yet. Anyone that's holier than us, or everyone that's holier than us, they have access, but we don't. Why? Because we don't believe we have access. We don't embody this access. We don't live, move, and have our beingness from this place. But recognize that there is no anyone holier than thou, because you are holier than you realize. Breathe that in for a second. Right now, you are holier, recognizing that the word holy comes from the root whole. You are more whole than you realize. And the moment you do realize this, then access to the infinite is there, because you understand that you are the one. You are God incarnating itself as you. You are love in the flesh. The infinite wisdom of the universe lives in every cell of your being. Your thoughts, God's thoughts. So there is no more downplaying, girl, I ain't got but common sense about you know, when common sense was handed out in heaven, I must have missed that. How many times do we criticize ourselves and say that we're not good enough? We're not smart enough. We're not talented enough. We compare ourselves to other people. There was a TED Talk that I listened to recently where Jill Scott was being interviewed. Well, in the TED Talk, they showed a clip of Jill Scott being interviewed, and the interviewer asked her, are you nervous about following? Because Erykah Badu had just performed. And the interviewer asked her, Jill, are you nervous about going on after Erykah? And Jill chuckled and she said, no, why would I be? She is her own greatness. And I am my own greatness. She will never be as good as me because only I can be me, and I will never be as good as her because only she can be her. We are our own different expressions of magnificence. No competition. You are the one. There is no need to compete with anything or anyone else. Simply step into your divinity. Janelle Monáe said, even if it makes others uncomfortable, I will love who I am. I will be who I am. I will care for who I am, even if it makes them uncomfortable. Because my love for me, love as me, ain't got nothing to do with them. It's about me being fully present, me being whole, me being holiness in expression. And that's all that's important. How do you step into your greatness? How do you allow the vision of God itself to be present in, through, and as you? Laverne Cox says, When you put love out in the world, it travels and it can touch people and reach people in ways that we never expected. Why? Well, we don't have to. We don't have to wonder or like, okay, well, when I plant this apple tree, how many people are going to get apples from it? I don't know. Well, I'm not going to plant it if I don't know. No, you plant it anyway. It becomes the legacy. And it doesn't matter how many people do or do not. It simply matters that you let love into the world, period. Be it, show it, shine it, generate it, manifest it, demonstrate it in all of the ways you possibly can, knowing that God, spirit, source, life, breath, joy is living, moving, and having its beingness as us. That's the highest vision of spirit, to be who you are. Michelle Obama said, one of the lessons that I grew up with was to always stay true to yourself. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. I grew up with was to always stay true to yourself and never let what someone else says distract you from your goals, distract you from your vision, distract you from your purpose, distract you from your legacy, distract you from your reason for being here as God made flesh. Do not let anyone, including you, distract you from the truth of your being. Wayne Teasdale says, spirituality serves as our greatest single resource for changing our centuries-old trajectory of violence and division. Spirituality is profoundly transformative when it inspires in us the attitude of surrendering to the mystery. When we surrender and allow spirit to be what it is as us, surrender the old story to the truth, surrender the fears to strength and power, surrender this, whatever this is, and simply be present right here and right now to the infinite goodness of the universe, then this transformative power not only changes each one of us, but it changes the vibration in our homes and our neighborhoods and our cities and the states and the continents and the countries and governments and the world. And it starts with surrender and allow the power of your being to be what it is. This week, if you have a vision board, if you have a vision board, what's on it? Like, bring that to your mind. What's on my vision board? What words and images, what do the words and images that you have on it say about you? And if you do not have one, what would you have on it? Maybe this is an invitation to create one. Do I practice visioning for my life? What kinds of things does Spirit reveal directly to me, in me, through me, and as me? Keeping in mind that one of the we believe in the direct revelation of truth, right? We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with this indwelling, all-dwelling spirit that is God. Then go over these quotes. What do each of these quotes mean to you? And as always, if you need the slides at some point, all you gotta do is email Tracy or myself. Simone Biles says, I was built this way for a reason, so I'm going to use it. Toni Morrison says, you are your best thing. Viola Davis says, you can't be hesitant about who you are. And then we end with, have a conversation with two people, Tracy's favorite part, have a conversation with two people about what it means to live in close contact with the indwelling, all-dwelling God. And we breathe for this week's affirmation declaration. I will say it first, then together. Life, Spirit's highest idea and expression of itself, is right now embodying itself in me and as my life. Together, life, Spirit's highest idea and expression of itself, is right now embodying itself in me and as my life. Ooh, and we breathe that in. So at this time, let us close service out with a brief benediction, recognizing that in this moment right here and right now, the infinite vision of, the infinite power of, the infinite joy and laughter and joy of God must be present in, through, and as all that we are. Because all there is God. All there is Spirit. It's all there is. And right here and right now, it is showing up in each individualized, each incarnating expression that we call me and you and other. All God nonetheless. So we simply allow this infinite goodness and joy and bliss and wonderment and awesomeness to express itself in our minds and in our words, in our emotions and feelings, and in the ways in which we show up. Simply breathing and knowing that the infinite law always says yes, so it is already operating according to these words, which means this treatment is already answered prayer. Each person joining in now, each person who watches the YouTube or Facebook channel later, each person here is already feeling it, demonstrating it, manifesting it, and stepping into greater ways of being that which God is. Knowing it is done, together we say, we declare it to be true by saying, and so it is. Namaste, greetings, love you all. Love you all.